No, I've never claimed to be perfect, and nobody I know is perfect. And there's a good chance that every single person who watches this, or hears this, or anybody you know, or anybody you ever meet, has done something wrong. Whether it's to someone else or themselves, probably both. And you know what? That's okay. Somebody said that failure is part of success, you know? You don't have to fail to succeed. The important part is that you keep trying. Because when you stop trying, you stop trying to be a better you. That's when you can really fall down. But there's no timeline on it, you know. There's no limitation. The only limitations are your resources and your willpower. Everybody's situation is different, and there's a good chance that the next person has it worse. You know, everything's situational, and you just can't be too harsh or hard on yourself, because it's just part of life. It's your first time being alive. It's my first time being alive. It's all of our first times being alive, unless you believe in reincarnation. Which, my biggest thing that I go to is, it doesn't matter what you do with your life, or what you believe in, or who you know, or anything like that. It's about, your values and your morals and what you believe in with yourself. If you're a good person, you like being a good person, you like being a good person to people, you like being that, that's good. But if you're not, and you don't do anything, morally wrong, that doesn't make you any less of a good person as the next person. So, in a way, every person has it better too. When you start comparing yourself and your situation and your life and the things other people have or don't have or anything like that, it's just it's ignorant in a way, because like I said, everybody has it different, whether that be good or bad. I think that there's a lot of we see a lot on social media, and we're envious creatures, and I think that I don't think that's a bad thing, but I don't personally enjoy social media. I think the people I need to know, or that have my best interests in mind, they have my cell phone number. They know where I live. They can get a hold of me if they need to, and I'll answer. And everybody else doesn't really need access to me like that. And I'm not going to judge anybody's situation or what they do. Everybody grew up differently. Everybody has different problems. They have different things they have to do, different things they believe in with themselves. But, I don't ever try to judge anyone, I like to think I'm pretty good at, I can walk into a room and I can kind of tell, what kind of people we have, But, you should never judge a book by its cover. But you can definitely tell the content of somebody's character just by the way they, portray themselves. Whether it's verbally or, physically, their body language. I'm a very intuitive person. I'm very, in touch with my feelings and my insides. Basically a pussy. But I tell you what, man. I know when something's wrong. I know when something's off. And I think that is blessing and a curse, because you can tell if somebody's lying to you, or you can tell if they're just not having a good day, or you can just tell a little bit about somebody just by reading their body language and their facial expressions, and you can read a room. And I think like I said, everybody grew up different. Everybody had different values instilled into them, different ways of learning things, different ideologies and morals and everything. I mean, I feel like at a certain point, though, when you're an adult, I don't have any kids, but with people that have kids that are my age, you'll always love your kids, no matter what, unless you're a shitty parent, which there's quite a few of those out there. But maybe you'll still love your kid, but they won't love you because of everything that transpired, and that's a whole other topic. But at a certain point in time, no matter how you were raised or what you went through in life, it's your job to change it. You cannot blame everything that happens to you on your past. You can be hesitant about stuff, and it can change your whole personality and change the way you do things and all that, but at a certain point in time, you have to take charge. And you can't blame the world or society or your parents or your siblings or your friends. This is everybody's first time being alive. And I think at a certain point, if you don't take accountability for your actions or the thing, or your feelings or anything like that, and you just blame it on other people or whatever, that's a red flag. And once again, not mine to judge, but I see that stuff, and I think it's pretty common. But like I said, I'm not the judge or the jury, but I just don't I don't buy into that whole thing of I do this or I am this because of my trauma. Like I got trauma too and shit, and it does still come out. Things still happen that take me back to a darker time, but it gets better every time. Every time the same situation happens or similar situations happen, it gets better. I've had a lot of growth in myself, and I try to spread kindness and shared experiences out into the world. And if that's something I can do, then I'm helping in a way. I'm putting that out into the world. And I think a lot of people are misguided, also by social media, but the type of people they hang out with or associate themselves with, or, once again, not judge and jury, but that's another part of being insightful and looking into things and not just taking it at face value. I like to think I'm a people person, which is crazy because I'm super antisocial. I don't, not a big eye contact maker. I'm a little autistic, and I think people value my opinion, which is insane because I don't value my own opinion most of the time. I can't trust myself to make a decision sometimes, or think things out clearly. But a lot of the people I know, they're always like, oh, you just always know the answer, and which and then most of the time I'm left thinking to myself, I don't know any answers. I don't know what kind of person that is that was good at giving advice about a lot of situations, which I've learned because I've known so many people that have been in these different situations, and we've had conversations and things that they've dealt with and all that. But it's just crazy when you sit down and think about it, about how easy it is to handle other situations than it is to handle your own. And somebody told me once that it's easier to love other people than it is to love myself. And that kind of struck with me, you know. That's a big thing for a lot of people, even for me sometimes. You know, I'm all about, you know, giving positivity to the world and love to the world. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's hard for me to do that for myself. And maybe that's, you know, something I need to take away. Maybe I need to give more of that to myself and less of it to other people. Maybe not even less to other people, just more to me, you know. Everybody needs somebody. And, you know, another friend told me that it's crazy to say that anybody's problems are worse than the next person's. And there's a lot of truth to that. And I don't know. It's a crazy world. There's a lot of things going on. Everything's expensive. Time is limited. And you notice as you get older that time just goes by faster, you know. Before you know it, it's fall, and then it's spring, and then it's fall again, and then it's winter, and before you know it, you're 35 years old. And you know, I'm not a big flashy fancy guy. I'll never want to you know, be rich per se. I'm rich in experience. I'm rich in love. I'm rich in friendships. I'm rich in you know, knowledge. Not knowledge as in like things that I can do, but you know, things that I know. There's secrets people have told me that I never tell anybody else. And a part of that is because I have a terrible memory. But another part to it is that I think I have a terrible memory in that sense that, you know, I can be that trusted person. Have I remembered stuff and you know, told stuff I shouldn't have before? Absolutely. You know, and I, you know, I paid for that. I was, you know, I felt guilty about it, but that's it. You know, you learn from it. And I'm a very trusting person. I'm very open. I'm very honest. I'm very independent. But I'm the type of person that's independent until they are, I wouldn't say in a relationship specifically, but when they're comfortable with people or situations or places, they kind of become negligent. I kind of become negligent on my own part, you know. I'm a personality adapter. Like if I like somebody, you know, I kind of adapt to their personality, and it also depends on the type of person too. You know, I have a type. Anybody that knows me knows I have a type, and sometimes it makes it hard for me to be myself because they need more of me than I do. And then, you know, I give too much of myself, and the type of people that I'm interested in can't handle that, or don't think they're worthy of it, and it becomes a problem for me because then I don't adapt. You know, I just keep giving. And if you keep putting gas into a car that's already filled to the brim, what's it going to do? It's going to leak all over the ground. It's going to go to waste. And if you put too much gas down there, and there is a you know, an ignition, then you got a fire. And but I don't know. I think it's, at the end of the day, it's important to be a good person. I think it's important to you know, use judgment, or use your judgment for things that you feel and you see, and I think you should always trust your gut, because I personally believe that your gut knows what's going on. And if your nervous system and your anxiety is telling you something, you should listen to it, because your body knows you better than your mind does. And I don't think your mind doesn't know too in your heart. It's just that there's a lot of things going on, Sometimes it's easy to ignore that stuff. I don't know. At the end of the day, what I'm telling you is, be a good person. Reciprocate those that reciprocate you. And show up. Do good things, and good things will come back to you. Even if you don't think that, you know, even if you've been doing good things for a long time and you feel like nothing good ever happens to you, just take a step back and, you know, think about the reality of everything. Think about life, and then say, you know, if nothing good has ever happened to you genuinely, then take a look at the things you've done, you know. I believe in karma. I believe good things will come to you if you do good things, and sometimes it takes more time than others. I believe in karma. I just believe it. I believe karma. And just do good things. For other people, for yourself, people you don't know. But don't ever give more of yourself away than you have for yourself. I'm a 125% guy. You know, I bring 125% to everything. So if somebody doesn't have anything, I can give them 100%, and I still got 25% for myself. So adapt to that mentality. And, you know, above all, just don't give up. Everything's gonna be okay. And someday, the things that trouble you now, probably won't even remember them. And probably for good reason. Because they weren't worth it, and it wasn't worth it to you. It's not a part of your story.